Hi guys, Captain Paul here. During the course of the season, I use many different hooks in various sizes and styles. In this video, I thought it might be helpful to take a look at some of those hooks and the various rigs that I use during the course of the year. As you can imagine, I go through literally dozens and dozens of hooks and rigs during the course of the fishing season. The winter layup is the time of year where I'll visit my local tackle shop and load up on all of the supplies I need, the bulk hooks, leader material, for tying the rigs that I'll be using during the following season. Stick around for a minute, we're going to take a closer look at some of my favorite hooks. As I've already mentioned, I buy my hooks in bulk packs, 50 to 100 hooks per box, depending on the size, and tie my own rigs. I prefer this because it gives me the option of being able to adjust the pound test and the length of the particular rig I'm tying to match the existing conditions. The early spring on the waters of the Long Island South Shore brings with it our first signs of the striped bass returning, and these are typically smaller striped bass. We'll target these fish in late April with a variety of soft baits, but two of the more popular ones are whole clams as well as sandworms. This particular hook is a Mustad 92-641. It's the Bait Saver series. It features these two slices on the shank. The bait goes up and the slices on the shank stop it from riding back down the hook and balling up on the turn of the hook. This particular one in my hand here is an 8-0. I'll also fish these with the sandworms using a smaller size, a 2-0. The 2-0 has a thinner wire. What I found with sandworms on a larger hook like this was they're very fragile body, and I have a tendency, we'll thread 2 or 3 up on the hook here, and we have a tendency of the sandworms being so fragile that they break off right at the turn. The smaller 2-0, the smaller diameter wire on the 2-0, that doesn't happen, and they drift very nice. Both these hooks I'll snell to a 50-pound leader. I just use plain monofilament. 50-pound, these particular hooks for both the sandworms and the clams, I'll snell them on about a 4-foot shot. As we move into late May and June here, the bunker begins to put in a very solid appearance. The menhaden pour in, and right on their heels are the better sized striped bass as well as bluefish. We'll cast net these bunker in the morning and fish them as live baits, and this is a particular hook that I'll use for that. This hook is used in conjunction with a rig that was invented by a very famous local captain here on Long Island, Captain Al Lorenzetti of SkimmerOutdoors.com. Al's rig involves this hook. I have one here. Here's what one looks like. This hook, this dual lock snap. The dual lock snap goes through the top of the head of the bait, and is snapped closed, leaving the hook to ride like this on the head of the live bait. We use this in the spring with the bunker, and then again in the fall with the bunker and the live shads. Check out Captain Al's over at Skimmer Outdoors, and he's got some YouTube videos over there of how he makes this particular rig. Really a killer. I'll snell this varying lengths, generally 4 to 5 feet of 60-pound big game monofilament. So as I mentioned, by the time it gets to be June around here on Long Island, the bunker are in the bay and the bluefish are on them, riding herd on them. It's at this time of year that live bait, while it works very well, the bluefish will be cutting you up in half a lot of times, cutting that bait right in half. So a good tactic at that point is to try chunking that bunker. This particular hook is a Gamakatsu 10-0 Octopus hook. Features a very wide gap here to give you plenty of room to get this hook through the chunk of bunker and still have the point exposed out the other side. Very strong, very sharp right out of the box. These are awesome hooks. I'll snell this onto, since when we're chunking, we're generally anchored, fishing the bait on a sinker. I'll snell this onto about an 18 to 20 inch shot of 60-pound monofilament. As we move into late summer here on Long Island, The adult bunker are pretty much left due to the warming water temperatures, and we'll start seeing the young of the year menhaden peanut bunker in the 2 to 4 inch size. We'll cast net those and fish them for the summer populations of fluke, as well as we've had some years with some summer run weakfish. This is a owner octopus hook in a 3/0 size. Very, very tiny wire, but very strong for its size. This tiny hook, this will go up through the mouth and out through the roof of the bait's head and ride along in this fashion. Very light, and it doesn't affect those tiny baits at all. They can swim very naturally with this tiny hook. I'll snell this to about a 4-foot shot of 30-pound mono. The final hook I'd like to talk to you about here is, as we move into the fall on Long Island, during the daytime we'll have the bunker putting in their appearance again. We also have some hickory shad. We'll fish those live. However, in the fall, at nighttime, it's time for the big live eels for the striped bass. This particular hook is a octopus. It's an owner octopus in the 8/0 size. Very strong hook. I'll snell this depending on where I'm fishing it. I'll have 2 different rigs I use for this. If we're fishing around deep, fast-moving water where we're putting sinkers on the line, I'll tie this to a 5 to 6 foot length of 60-pound mono. And if we're moving back into the back bay areas, a little shallower water, the current's nowhere near as fast as the inlet, I'll shorten that leader down to about 3 feet. Again, 60-pound test. This hook for live eels, very strong, and it'll hold big fish. Okay, so that's a very high-level flyover of the various hooks and some simple rigs that I use on the boat during the course of the season, from spring into summer and right on through the fall, chasing the local striped bass, bluefish, fluke, weakfish, etc. that swim in the local waters that I fish. I hope this video has helped somebody out there, and until the next time, tight lines, everyone.